Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at a drill that I often share with players to help them to use the bigger segments of their body better through impact, often helping them to reduce any unnecessary movement around the wrists and hands. So for any players that want to improve their club delivery, stay tuned. This is going to be a really simple one that you won't want to miss. Thanks once again for tuning in. So today we're looking at a simple drill to help players to move better with their bigger segments through impact, to reduce any unwanted hand and arm, wrist action that we can often get through impact if we're not moving as well as we could with our bigger segments. So a really simple concept today. But first, I just want to share with you a coaching opportunity that I have at the moment. It's a monthly subscription to just unlimited feedback from me. You can send as many swings as you want. We can jump on a few calls if we need to, and just get you really clear with your game. So if you want me to help you with your game in almost like a mentorship kind of fashion, get feedback as regularly as you would like, then go to ianmellorgolf.com. You can find out more there. Okay, so today let's look at this little concept that has often helped players that I've worked with, and it's based on the understanding that after impact, the club head or the club and its force mass is pulling away from us this way. So our bodies are working in a way to control where that mass is going. So if we learn to decelerate the club well, it's going to help us to position ourselves better moving into impact, because the way our brain works just internally, it is going to be aware that after the hit, the mass of the club is going this way. We've done the action enough, we've swung the club enough, we know what's coming. It's usually young kids and beginners that will get pulled off balance in the follow through. But once we've played a while, we know that's going to happen. So we're preempting as we're coming into impact, that's going to happen. So if we do a good job at decelerating the club, we're going to have more control of it. And if we are more aware of how we're going to decelerate it in a good way, we can have more control with the club coming into impact and through the hit. So very, very simple little imagination drill here. If I was to swing into impact, and then let's just say to the club head, if I was to put the ball here, the club head will be, let's say, pointed at a spot 6 feet in front of the ball here. Now, when I'm there, what I want you to do is just imagine someone's pulling that club. There's something pulling the club in that direction. So obviously, if something's pulling that way, I want to brace that so that I'm pulling the opposite way, this way. And I want to get myself into the best position possible to really prevent someone pulling me down this way. So in doing that, I'm going to be pushing off my trail foot, getting my lead hip over my lead ankle. I'm positioning my lead foot in a way that allows me to pull back in a way with this hip that allows me to really manage just that opposing force there. So I'm pushing here, I'm pushing off my lead foot to get into a good position there. And at the same time then I'm pushing with my glutes so I can get into a nice position there to pull back with my back. So as I come into impact there, I'm getting into this position here. And one thing that's really evident to me is how my pelvis, my rib cage, and my head is all in that direction there. So from a sequence standpoint, when we look at really good players on 3D that are sequencing nicely, moving well through impact, at about this point after impact, the pelvis, rib cage, and head are pointed somewhat at the club face here. So that's a nice reference point. So in here, I'm pushing off my trail side, pushing up off my lead side, pulling back on the club, all to resist like this kind of a motion here. So what I can do is almost stay in that position and use that as feedback there. So if we can get there, that's going to be a nice spot for us to really kind of decelerate, control the club and release. And from there we can just push off the trail side and get into a nice balanced finish. And with players, I'll have them, once they've found the right sensations, or they've kind of connected with that position that we're working on, I'll have them start off with just little shots, just decelerating it well there, showing that they've got some nice control. And you can see, even when I'm doing this, there's not a whole lot of hand action. It's very much body driven. So then when you've got a good sense, pulling the ball, And again, you wouldn't be hitting these at full pace. We're talking little chips here, but it's very much a body-driven movement. And if you can stop there, it's going to be just a nice little piece of feedback for how you could feel through impact with a fuller swing. So a little bit longer than I would want to be there, but felt really, really good through the hit. Felt as though I didn't have to use too much hands. And it's just a nice place to start a practice session from. For me, really does feel as though I'm working a lot more open, up with the lead hip to get my pelvis pointed in that direction at that 6 feet in front of the ball spot there, rib cage in the same spot, head in the same spot. So a really cool one there, just to help players through the hitting area.